So apparently a guy went on a date and this happened.
So I just left a restaurant after waiting 30 minutes for a date to show up, and apparently I got stood up. I'm trying to do everything right to be a gentleman. I brought flowers. I've been consistent talking with this girl for 2 weeks, trying to get to know what she likes, what she doesn't like. I'm just looking for the one that I guess is out there for me. Sitting there eating a meal by myself. Like, LA dating shouldn't even be this hard. Ladies, tell me, what did I do wrong?
What's up, guys? It's Bad Decisions, where we watch people make
bad decisions.
It's your boy Shirt.
It's your man Jay. All right, so after watching the video, I feel bad for the guy, but if I had to add it all up, it honestly equates to dry kitten to me, if you know what I mean. So I'll break it down for you why. Number one, he showed up on TikTok crying. Big L. Number two, he was begging women online on social media to explain to him why he got stood up. And three, he showed up with flowers, which is not a bad thing, but he probably showed up early, and he just seems like an overall too nice guy. So if I had to extrapolate it all out, to me, it's just giving beta.
Okay, so let me just be all the way honest. So when you're dating, especially you're going through a lot of dates, eventually you're gonna get flaked on. And there's basically two types of flakes. There's, the level 1 flake, where essentially, let's say a couple of days before the date, she decides to say, oh, I'm busy, I got sick or something like that. Or, she does it the day of and she makes an excuse and maybe you guys reschedule. And then there's the level 2, which I hope many guys don't face because it does suck, is when you go on a date and the girl doesn't end up showing up. Both of them equally suck, but honestly, it's just part of the dating process. And apparently, it looks like he suffered from a level 2. So it appears to me that this guy seems like he might be just a little bit awkward, or he might just be completely new to dating. And the thing about dating, it's like anything else you do in life. So when you first start off, are you going to be the best at it? No. But after a while, you learn how to weed people out and you learn how to just vet people out all around better. For example, I know me, if I talk to a girl and it takes a long time for her to text back, like she takes her a couple hours or it takes her a couple of days, I know in my mind, yeah, she's probably not that one for me. She's probably not that interested. Is there a chance that I could change her mind and, she could be a good girl and all that stuff? Yes, but to me, personally, it's not worth my time. The time I spend doing that is a time I could spend a girl that actually has a lot of interest in me, because this isn't 2001. People have their phones with them 90% of the time. They saw the message. They did not see it. So
what you said about how people always are glued to their phones nowadays is 100% spot on. So honestly, if a woman that I'm talking to does not text back within, I don't even know, an hour, I'm already thinking to myself, she's not really into me like that, or she's playing games, because like you said, literally we sleep with our phones next to our face. With that being said, I need to know the background and the details of the situation. Otherwise, I'm just speculating. So, decision makers, please allow me to speculate for a second. This is what I'm thinking. If I had to guess, he probably chased a woman who just wasn't that into him, and finally she caved in and decided to give him a date. And at the last minute, the 11th hour, she changed her mind and she stood him up. So to speak to your point, this is not a rule or a lesson that I live by in my own life. I don't chase women anymore. If she's not interested in me, I don't pursue, because I only want to be with a woman who has genuine interest in me. Otherwise, it's really just a waste of time. That being said, I will have to put some of the blame back on my guy now, because we as men have to hold ourselves accountable to the same standard that we ask women to do it. So we oftentimes ask women to self-reflect and to ask themselves, what does the man that you want? And as men, we must do the same thing. We need to ask ourselves, what does the woman who we want? Does that woman that you want a man who's nice to her and soft to her? Sure, some of the time she wants that. But really, a woman's not going to want a man who's as soft as she is. And I'm not trying to say this guy is soft. I don't know him. But just based upon the minute and 30 seconds of that video, I can tell he just doesn't have that much edge. And unfortunately or fortunately, however you want to look at it, most women are going to want a guy that has some level of edge, some level of bad boy to them, or at least, I don't know, some type of machismo. And he doesn't seem like he really has that. No offense to him.
So I do have to agree to the point. Would you say that he is a nice guy? I definitely get the feeling that he might be overly too nice. And I think guys a lot of times mistake women when they say that girls want a nice guy. Because here's the thing. I do believe women when they say, oh, I want a nice guy. It's just that their version of a nice guy and a guy's version of a nice guy are two completely different things. A guy's version of a nice guy is someone who treats her right, does everything she asks for, and never starts a fight. A girl's version of a nice guy is like Chris Hemsworth, who is kind but can beat up a guy if he needs to, but puts her in her place, but is also financially well, but never cheats on her. So basically, I'm saying he's kind of a unicorn. So the best thing to do, honestly, here's the thing. Here's the main thing, right? I'm not saying that. I'm not telling guys to say don't treat women nice, don't be kind to women, because I think that's unrealistic. I think you should be kind to everybody. I definitely think you should be nice to women. But at the same time, you got to also have a backbone. And it's easier to have a backbone when you have your stuff in order. So when your health is right, you're financially right, your style is right, you got everything down, it's easier for you to stand up for yourself because you've built yourself up to a point. But I feel like when you don't have things in order, it's hard for you to stand up, right? And I think sometimes as guys, we get caught up in our head by a woman's beauty and we think, oh, she's so beautiful, I'm scared to lose her. So I think a lot of guys are so focused on her beauty that they let their boundaries go away. You know, they let people cross over boundaries. You know, they'll accept a girl being, 30 minutes late, 40 minutes late. They'll accept someone standing them up and still hit them up to try to go out to dinner with them and do regular things. But ultimately, like I said, man, it's just about building yourself up and getting with someone who understands your boundaries.
Very well said, Sherm. Very, very well said. I think that you're 100% right with the fact that if you're a man who has his ish together, you are better able to hold the line and stand firm to your boundaries, right?
Yeah.
Or stay true to your boundaries. I think that's 100% true. And you also don't let people walk over you. In this case, a woman. You're not going to let her walk over you and be 30 minutes late or text you back a day later and ghost you and still try to chase that woman. You don't need to chase a woman because they're going to be looking at you. So I love it. With that being said, I will say that this situation is also indicative of a broader challenge or struggle or problem that we're finding as millennials and Gen Z and even some Gen X, is that dating market is kind of hard, especially when you're talking about dating apps, because this guy found his girl, or this guy found a girl who stood him up on the dating app. And unfortunately, it's like with dating apps, it's just the dilemma of choice. So you might have a good person in front of you to where 20, 30, 40 years ago, that option would have been great. You would have taken it, you would have made it work, you would have enjoyed your life, hopefully. Now it's like the grass is always greener and people want to stringing people along. She probably was just using him as, because, I don't know. Who knows? So, but a good man in front of her, she let it go. I don't know why, but I think it's indicative of a bigger problem we're facing now.
I think that's another bigger issue is that dating apps a lot of times aren't the best for men, especially if you're just starting out. I think the best thing to do is to start locally. Because here's the thing, right? So back in the day, let's say you would go on a date with a woman. Chances are you met her where? At the gym, at school, or at work. So if she were to flake with you, there'd be kind of like some repercussions. She'd have to see you again. It would be kind of awkward. But when you're meeting someone on a dating app, like, you don't know that person. Chances are they live miles away. So if she flakes on you, there's a better chance of her flaking because she doesn't know you. There's no real repercussions. And she kind of do whatever she wants, right? Mm-hmm. So I suggest if you're a guy and you're newer to the dating landscape is to, I guess, start in a friend group. Yeah. Start in a friend group, start locally, start with people you kind of know, because that way they can kind of vouch for you to be like, yes, he's new, he might be a little bit awkward, but he's a good guy, right? So I think that's the best option if you're newer, because dating apps is pretty much for women. It's the woman's best cheat code.
Right. And I will add a little caveat to that, is that use your friend group if you're serious. Don't use your friend group if you just want to get a quick lay.
No, that's a terrible idea.
Yeah, because then you're going to just end up causing friction and problems in a group. But I agree with you.
Yeah.
If you want a serious girl, yeah, friend group is a great way to go about it. So,
the other thing I also have to say is that rejection is not always a bad thing. Because when you've gone dating and you date for a while, not every day has gone well. There are some dates I've been on and I'm like, you know what? I wish I could have just stayed home and saved my money. So not everybody is meant for everybody. Because here's the thing, right? You could have went on the date with the girl and she could have been stuck up. She could have still came, but came ridiculously late. She could have had a bad attitude. You guys could have just not gelled at all. Maybe you guys had different political preferences. There's a bunch of things that could have happened. I think sometimes as guys, like I was saying previously before, is that we have it in our head that when we see a girl that we're attracted to, that automatically that she's perfect for us, no matter what. Like she has to be the one just because she looks good, and that's not always the case, and that's not really realistic either. I remember one time I was in high school. I was in ninth grade. I liked a girl who was a senior, right? And I was like, man, she's so bad, blah, blah, blah. Fast forward a couple years, I come back from college. It turns out like this girl is crazy. Like she's like tore up her ex's car. She's got multiple baby daddies. Like she's alcoholic. Like just a whole bunch of terrible stuff. And I can only imagine what my life would have been like if I would have actually got that girl when I was younger. So like I said, sometimes it's a blessing in disguise. That, you know, rejection is not always bad. Like sometimes you might have dodged the best bullet.
Yeah. What Beyonce say?
I don't know.
She said, you're the best thing I know. I don't know the lyrics. You know the song I'm talking about. All my lady decision makers. You know what I'm talking about.
All right, guys. So what I'm going to say is ultimately, I think he made a bad decision running to the internet for confirmation. I think going to the internet for your personal problems is always a terrible idea. I don't think I've ever seen it work unless it's like a court case and you're looking for evidence. You know what I'm saying? They put the evidence out there, their name's getting splattered or something like that. Then you can kind of come to the internet. But other than that, man, it's best to keep your private life private. In his case, I don't know if he has any really close friends, but if he does, I'd go to them for advice, and I'd go to people that are successful with dating for advice opposed to going to the internet. So ultimately, I'm going to say it's a bad decision. And I'm going to also say that the girl made a bad decision because that's just classless. At this point in time, we're all grown. He seems like he's a little bit older gentleman. And you can let someone know if you don't want to come on a date. Like I said, you could do a level 1 flake where you just flake an hour, not an hour, but you know, you flake a day ahead, you flake 2 days ahead, something like that. You know, I'm not forcing anyone to go on a date with someone they don't want to go on a date with, but let people know, man, people's time is valuable. You know, you can never get back time, and it's just, to me, it's just rude, it's classless, and it really shows the type of person you are. Because listen, you might get away with flaking on someone, but that might come to you. You might get flaked on a guy that you really like, or guess what? Your daughter might get flaked on by a guy she really likes. So yeah, I mean, that's what I'm going to say. Ultimately, I think it's a bad decision all the way around.
Yeah, man. This is a classic case of nice guys finish last. He seems like a very nice guy. Obviously, he got stood up. You know, I feel for him, but at the end of the day, he's going to be just fine. He'll find a woman that's right for him. And in the meantime, don't chase. Don't even look, really. I would say focus on yourself. And, I mean, you seem like you have it together for the most part. So, but no one's perfect.
Yeah.
So whatever you need to work on that. Level yourself up to be the best version of yourself. And then that woman you want will be in your life eventually. I mean, you got to obviously put an effort to find her, but focus on you first. So I'll say that. As for the chick, obviously, classless. I mean, like you said, if you're going to cancel, at least give him some time. Like, don't show up.
Yeah, don't throw away the dude's whole weekend, bro. Come on. Come on.
No.
But guys, so this has been Bad Decisions. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. So if you agree with us, leave a comment. And if you think we're absolutely, then leave a comment and let us know that we're crazy. All right, guys, we are out.